everyone, Crafting Vicky here with you, and I wanted to share with you the album that I made for my stepmom. She loves rabbits, and last year I had made her an album, and I made another one this year. This is an altered book, so I emptied out the book part, and I made 3 signatures, and as you can see, like, it's ultra chunky, like big time chunky, crazy chunky, and I've put some beads on the sewing of the signatures just because I thought it was more fun, and I've also added some lace to this, and I love, like, I put a lot of tags and stuff, and it's all like furry and just fun. So here I left her a lot of ribbon because I thought of different ways of closing it. I thought initially just a bit of ribbon, but it wasn't enough because it's so chunky, it wasn't staying closed. So I made it bigger also because she might add extra stuff to it. I'm not sure how she's gonna be able to add extra stuff, but who knows. She might add little bits and pieces, so I left it extra long for that. So the closure was made with a brad, and I put 2 eyelets to make it stand out so that I could use it to do the closure. And in the back I put eyelets as well to put the ribbon through it, and I've tied it underneath the paper in the back. I've put in my little signature here, and one thing that is new that I've never done before is to put little hearts on the signature piece. I've seen Rachel do it, and I don't remember how she calls them, but somebody's dangles, and maybe I should say those are Rachel's dangles. Anyway, I'm not sure she's gonna appreciate, but so I made little hearts with a little punch, and I've added them to this, and I just think it's fun that they're hanging there. So in the book, I've reused the first page and the last page. I cut them out and I've put them here. Like I said, she loves rabbits, so I've put a lot of rabbits. One of the things that I've been trying to do is going on Pinterest to get some images, vintage image, but I have to admit that I have a lot of trouble going through Pinterest for images because I support the G artists as well as all my fellow Etsy store owners, and one thing that I find really sad with Pinterest is that there's a lot of people that are pinning images and people using them where the images are not free. They're actually stuff that should be on sale. So if you're using it and it's supposed to be on sale, well, you're basically robbing the artist of that revenue. So to me, that's like a big no-no, and so I went through all the different sites that they were linking, and I checked if I was able to use them or not. Some said for personal use, which is okay because this is going to be a gift, so I'm not reselling it. So that's how I'm doing it. But I did check to make sure that it belonged to them and that I wasn't infringing anybody's right. And I've also used a lot of graphic fairies. I'm registered on that site, so I get to use their images either for personal use as well as for selling. So I love that. So this is one of the great sites that I'm registered to. One thing that I did do on this is I coffee stained all the paper. And what I did is I baked it in the oven afterwards, and I used some trays. One of them has holes in it. I'd seen somebody using that with Kool-Aid paper. It works as well with coffee. It's just amazing. And I had been looking for one of those pans for the longest of times with holes, and I wasn't able to find any here, but I found one in a dollar store in the States, so I purchased it while I was with my friend Erin. And I used it for some of the papers here, and I really love the result of it. So I did the same thing on all the tags. I've also put them through coffee staining, so they all look vintagey, like the colors faded a bit. Here is a little index folder type thing. Here I made a belly band and another little rabbit image, and you can hardly see it by now. You can see the spotting on one of the trays that I used. Here I had this image that I found, which was rabbits, and I like the fact that it's so long, so I'm putting it here, and I'm figuring she can use it as a bookmark if she wants. Because this time around I didn't put a regular bookmark in the book. Here I've made, this is a little spot that she can use. This was some leftover paper from the set, so it wasn't coffee dyed, unlike the paper that I had already decided to use. Here's another little tag, another one. They're all blank in the back so that she can actually journal in. I've bought some Canada books, rule books that kids use for school, and I've cut them in two so that they would fit in there, and I did the coffee staining on them. These are envelopes that have been given to me by workplace. I've put them inside out so that you see the nice blue, and I made sure that I had 3 that were the same pattern so that it ties in. So here's a little tag. Here I made, I used the book paper to make little envelopes, and I put a little tag in it. So that's kind of fun. And I've added little flowers with a little bling. Here's some ledger paper, same thing, dyed. Whoops, I'm gonna have to go and pick up my bookmark. Here I used a paper bag, and I've put little cards that I had from a paper set that I had cut out. And so they're little tuck spot, as well as the top of the bag. And what I did as well is I made a bunch of different quotes that I found in a book that my dad gave me, and I printed them out and coffee stained them. And they're all French quotes, and I've made a set of those, and they can be found in my Etsy store. There's only one set though. There's not a lot of French little tags, so I thought this would be a nice addition. I don't know if there's interest on this, but I just figured let's make an extra one, and just in case. So here's another little quote. She loves owls, so this is going to be fun. I use a little doily, and what I did here is I've added some little journaling paper that's folded in 2. And here's my little center. This is the center of my first signature with the doily, and another little image. I love that one. I think it represents us well with all my kids. Here's the back of the bag. I had some stickers that I had purchased in the States, and they're all like, they look like doilies, so I embellished the back of the bag this way, and I made a little tuck spot here, and I also opened up the bag so that I could put in a tag here as well as a tag in the back, the same way as I did with the other ones. Here I added a little tag for a tuck spot. Here I put in a little coin envelope, and I put a little paper clip to keep it shut, but there's a little tag that's hidden in there, and because it wasn't staying closed, that's why I put the little paper clip. And this also makes a little tuck spot, and you can see it here. So back of the paper. Here I made some little banners, and I put some little embellishments. Here I made, I think I have a few of those in my Etsy store. First of all, I made a little tuck spot here, but I've also made this little envelope opens up, and you can journal in it. So I think it's kind of fun. And there's a tuck spot in the back. Here there's a little tuck spot here, another one here. This is the start for the second signature. Maybe I can zoom you in just a tiny bit, not too much. Okay, so here I've added a little spot so that she can journal here. You can see the dots that I was talking about here. You can see on the paper that there's dots. So that's made with the special pen. And then here's another envelope, and another little bag, another one of those file folder index card, and I've stamped this image, put some washi tape. Here's another one of those envelopes that I made. Some ledger paper. Here I've tucked a little piece of paper in there. You can journal on this because it's a dark paper, so you can't really do anything else. Here's another little thing, and she can of course journal on this big part of it. But I just wanted her to have extra bunnies. She really loves bunnies. So here's another coffee stain. Here I've used some ephemeras that I had in my stash. I've had it forever, and yeah, I've decided to start using my stuff more often. Same thing with this one. I had it forever and it wasn't going anywhere, so I think now it's found a home. Here's another one of those little lists tucked in here. Here's another, but bigger one. Notes to remember, and it's folded. Here on this one, I made something special. It's the first time I've made this to include in the book. I've used a little paper clip, but one of the fun ones that is shaped, and I've tied this. It's basically all kinds of papers that I had leftovers, and I made a little book out of it and tied it with some fiber, and then just close it this way and tuck it in there. So lots of extra room to journal in. That's how it ended up being so chunky. There's a tag in the envelope itself, and then there's one of those little cards, and those are, I have some of those in my Etsy store. So more of the coffee stain, and you can really see the dots here. I love how it turned out. Here's another little card, another tuck spot with another little bunny tag. Here's another one of those that opens up, and there's a little card. Here's another one of those little envelopes that also opens up. I used the leftover of the sticker that I had. I put a little tuck spot here. I tried to keep as many tuck spots as I could. I just realized that I need to put a little something in here. This is the back of the bag, the same way as I shown you previously. This is another one of those stickers that I had, and I put two little tickets here just so that she knows it's a little empty space, but it's very tiny because it's close here, so there's not a lot of room to maneuver. Here's another cute little bunny that you can see through the envelope. Another one of those little coin pouch, and has another tag in it, plus the big tag, the bunny with the banner. Here I've put, instead of putting paper, I've put one of those little envelopes that I made, so she can open it up and journal in it, as well as journal on it if she wanted. And then here's another little bunny, a little tag with a little, and here when I had the envelope itself, and I thought it was harder to pull out stuff and to be able to see it, I used my my circle punch to make these little holes so that it would be easier to pull out. And here's another spot. I love this image. I just think it's so cute. There's a lot of them that were for Easter, and what I did is I used my Photoshop Elements software to remove all the Easter sentiment on it. And I love the Alice in Wonderland little bunny. I was happy to find him. So yeah, I removed all the sentiments on it, and prior to printing them. So that was a really long process, because I mean, let's be honest, an image like this is more for Easter, but it's very cute for somebody that loves bunnies, and I think it really fits in here. And closing the book with this cutie, and another little spot here that she can journal in. So I really loved how this turned out. Hope you do too. But most of all, I hope she loves it. And so if you like this type of thing, I do have some of my books in the store, some of my journals in the store. Not exactly like this one, because usually they're a little bit less chunky, so that it's easier to did I put it 3 times? Yeah. Just so that it's easier to journal in. This time I went a bit overboard. But yeah, so there's some in my Etsy store, as well as you can find you can find some of the embellishments that I use in here as well in my Etsy store if you want to make your own. So hope you like this. Give me a thumbs up if you do. Don't forget to leave comments. I love reading them, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Bye folks.